Okay, so today I'm going to give you a basic overall glimpse of GoGuardian. We will not be going into details of every little feature, but I wanted to give you the overall basics just so to kind of cast the vision and show you how awesome it is to use. So we're going to go to GoGuardian.com. I'm already there. And then we're going to log in with Google. You would use your MISD.GS Google account. Okay, so the first screen you come to is your classroom screen. You can see I've already set up a classroom here because we were piloting the Chromebooks. And so this was my second period Tech Apps classroom, but I'm going to show you how to add a classroom. Yours will be blank. So you would simply come here to add classroom. You would give it a name, select the subject you teach, a description, and these things are, name is the only one required, but you could fill those out if you want. A default scene. We'll get to that later in what scenes are, okay? And then you can give it a color if you want to, and then you simply click Add Classroom. Now, there's three ways to get your kids into it. Either have them enroll in your class from a link, which I think is probably the easiest way, okay? Or you can add individual email addresses to build your class. If you feel like putting them all in there individually, you can, or upload a CSV with student email addresses. This is going to be the easiest one probably. I'm going to click on it and show you. This is all you do. The kids, it tells them where to go, enroll.goguardian.com, and they enter this enroll code and they're in. It's that easy, okay? If you want to do it by student emails, you can click here and start entering their emails, okay? If you want to do a CSV import, you can click there if you know how to do that, okay? So finally, I would do the enroll code, okay? All right, so here we are back here. Here is the, if you want to enter them by email, this screen does that too, okay? So let's go back to classrooms, and you'll notice now I have another one called First Period AP Science, okay? That's the one I created when I was doing this screen recording. I'm going to open my second period Tech Apps class. Okay, here you can tell it whether you use chat or not. That's another feature we won't cover today. But here you can decide how long is the session going to be. Okay, you can choose from the drop-down box, and then you hit Start Class. Okay, now here's your class. There's a few things I want to show you about it. First of all, the thing that sticks out obviously is you can see all the kids' screens on one screen. You can also scroll down to see the rest of them, okay? But you'll notice I blanked out the names for privacy reasons, but you can see what each of them is on. You can also tell, like if you look underneath all the tabs they have open, if you hover over them, you should be able to see what they are. If you want to expand their screen so that you can see closer what they're on, you can click it, and this comes up to show you a better view of what they're looking at. There's a few other features on this screen as well. Look at the bottom, exclude student. That means you can take them out of the scene if you, or out of the session if you don't want them to be in the session. Open a new tab, that's a good one. If you want to open a new tab on their screen from your computer, you can do that. I'll also show you how to do it on all their computers in a little bit. You can also lock their device if you need to lock them out from using it until you unlock it again. You can take a screenshot if you feel like there's something a little bit sus, you know, that's what the kids use, sus, for suspicious. If there's something a little bit sus going on, you can take a screenshot. I'll show you where those are in a minute. And then there's this new feature called annotate. I'll tell you real quick about it, but basically when you click on that, it allows you to show them from your screen. It allows them to show on their screen. It gives you a little circle or a little pointer so you can point at things, things like that. You'll have to get some more information about that. This also shows all the tabs that they have open at the moment, okay? So let me get out of there. You can also click on the three-dot menu on each individual student, and that gives you the option to either lock the student's device, open a tab on their computer, you can do it this way too, or exclude them from this session, okay? You could also select more than just one student by clicking right up here, okay, and choosing all the students, and look at these options that it gives you. You can either call students, we won't get into that part, but you can open a new tab on all of their screens from your computer. You can lock all their devices, you can unlock all their devices, or you can exclude them from the session. Okay, so that allows you to choose all students or more than one. Okay, the other thing you can do is update the time right up here. Right now it shows I have 11 minutes remaining of this session. If it's going to go longer or something, you can click on that and add 5, 10, 15, 30 or a new end time, okay, if you need to update it, and you just click update session. Okay, right over here on the screenshots tab, remember I showed you if you take a screenshot like I showed you earlier, it'll show up right here so that you have a record of it. We're going to go back to screens. So that's like the basic idea of the classroom or of the screens that you can see. There's other things to do like off-task alerts, student groups and things like that. But today is just very basic, okay? Also, I'm going to show you about right here about how you can add a scene. We'll do that. Let's go to scenes. Okay, you'll notice that you can do two things. You can either create allowed website lists or blocked website lists, okay? Most of the time, you're kind of going to do the allowed ones. I'm going to show you an example. My no excuse, I call the first 12 minutes of my class no excuse time because they are supposed to be checking their grades, their messages, and doing their typing lessons. And I call it no excuse time because they have no excuse to say they didn't have time because I'm giving them time in class. Well, when I open it, you'll see that the things I'm allowing right here, this list that I built, they're allowed to get to their typing lessons. This one, I believe, is their, this one's their email. This one's their, one of them is PowerSchool and one of them is their class link. But those are the only four things they're allowed to use at that time. So I created this scene and I named it that, okay? I'm gonna go back to scenes. So that's my no excuse time scene. Then I created one called my basic list. This is like their most frequently used apps that we probably always want open for them. So if you look at it, it has things like all their G Suite, any G Suite Google apps, Google itself, Canvas, things like that, okay, that they're probably gonna use most of the time, SmartPass and things like that. Here's some other things that if you think apply to it, these are just some quick suggestions that you can also add in too, okay? And then I wanna show you how I needed another list that was basic, but added one or two more things to it just for one day. And so I didn't have to create a new one. I could go off, I can click on the settings gear here and click on make a copy, and it'll lead me through and let me make a copy, okay? And you'll notice, excuse me, I went back a screen. You click on make a copy and it'll lead you through the steps. So I'm gonna click make a copy and I'm gonna show you the one I created. I created one called basic plus HEB/Kroger because we were doing an activity where they were allowed to do some shopping from HEB or Kroger website. So I wanted them to be allowed all the things that were in the basic plus HEB and Kroger as well, okay? I'm gonna go back to scenes now. And again, like I said, you can also create a blocked website list as well right here, okay? Most of the time I stick to the allowed websites and that blocks everything else but allowed stuff. Okay, so now I am gonna go back to our session that is currently going on by just clicking right up here. You can also do it by going back to classrooms. There's a few different ways, but I'm gonna go back to my session that's currently going on. And you'll notice that right now, I don't have any scene applied to it right now. So right now, I'm just able to watch them and monitor them, but none of my scenes that I had created is applied. So now all I have to do to apply a scene is come right over here and click on the drop-down menu. And you'll notice it gives me a few different options. There are the ones I had created, the no excuse time, the basic list, the basic plus HEB Kroger. You'll also notice I don't have any blocked website lists yet, or those would show up there as well. You'll also notice I can create a new scene from right here, okay? So that's pretty cool. And you can do this all live during a session. The session can be going on and you can change the scene from one to the other as they're working. So let's go ahead and go back to classrooms for the final thing. The last thing I'm going to show you is simply how to end the session. But before I do, I want to mention to you, you're going to have to kind of play around with building your scenes. It's going to take a little bit of time as students say, hey, Mr. Sanchez, this one's blocked. Well, you'll notice it blocked right here on theirs, and you can unblock it from, you can add it to the scene just by clicking something. It makes it real easy. So it'll take a little bit of time, but once you get your scenes built, you're going to love it. You're going to be able to use them easily and manage the things your kids are doing. So to end the session, if the time is not up on its own, you can click here on end session, and then it'll just ask you if you want to end the live session. And that's it. There's other tips and tricks. This was just kind of a basic, but there's other things that this program does that are awesome as well, including the calendar, student reports, and other things. But this, I just wanted to give you a quick lowdown of the main stuff.